Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR HaLacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, 14th day of June, the 4th day of Tamuz. Today we're going to discuss the law about how the Torah prohibits us from cutting down a fruit tree. It's baltashchis, it's wasting. The tree is producing fruit. It's a wonderful gift that God gives us, that trees give us fruit like that. And here you are chopping that down. That's a bad thing, and it's considered baltashchis. You're not allowed to do it. Now, there are four exceptions that are talked about in halacha when it could be considered permissible. Exception number one, the tree is old and it is producing very little fruit. You'd have to speak to the rabbi about what is called very little fruit, but if you find that your tree is not producing fruit or producing very little fruit, then there could be leniency and you might be allowed to cut down the tree. Secondly, sometimes a person finds that there's more value in cutting down the tree than taking the fruit because the wood is worth a lot of money. And so you're using it. You're using the value of the wood, and under such circumstances there is leniency as to cutting down the tree. Also, sometimes we can be lenient where the fruit tree is causing damage to property or things like that. Then you might have permission to chop down the fruit tree. And lastly, it might help you and cause like better living space in your area. You need to expand your home, it's taking up your whole backyard, or things like that. In all these cases, you'd have to discuss it with your rabbi, but these are reasons to be lenient about cutting down a fruit tree. Now, interestingly, Rabbi Yaakov Emden, he lived over 300 years ago, and he said that we should really not to cut down fruit trees even when we face these leniencies, and that's because it's a sakana. It can cause you danger. Okay, and when people hear the word danger, of course they want to back off. And Rabbi Yaakov Emden said it would be a danger to you if you were to cut down a fruit tree. Now, many rabbis have discussed this a lot over the last 300 years and talked about, like, what do we do now that Rabbi Yaakov Emden said this to us? So some suggest that you could transfer ownership to a non-Jew, and then if the non-Jew chooses to cut down the tree, well, that's his business. He doesn't have this Torah prohibition, and that might make for some leniency. That's what some of the poskim say. Some say that you should only use that idea of transferring it over to a non-Jew when you have one of these leniencies, and then maybe transfer it over to a non-Jew and have him cut it down. But to do that when you have none of these leniencies, people are still leery about chopping down the fruit tree in that situation. And lastly, if you are pruning branches off the fruit tree so that the other branches produce fruit better, then it is permitted. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.